morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Hal Shurtleff. I am the director and co-founder of Camp Constitution, a charitable trust that, among all things, runs a wonderful week-long family camp, which you can see the sign in the front here. We also have a speakers bureau. We have a YouTube channel. We have a website that carries the St. Bloomfield Archive, a great resource. We are very concerned about the Constitution. We teach people on a regular basis about how important it is and the threats to the Constitution. And we see an Article 5 convention as a threat to the Constitution. So let me explain very briefly what an Article 5 convention is. I will not read it right from the Constitution to save time, but our brilliant founders gave us two ways to amend the Constitution. The first way, under Article 5, there are 7 articles and 27 amendments. Article 5 said 2/3 of the House and Senate can pass an amendment, and then it goes to the states for ratification. 3/4 of the states are required. Or Congress can change the mode of ratification to what they call a ratifying convention. That was done to repeal the 18th Amendment, the prohibition. I think that was the only time that was done. So a state representative may never get a chance to vote on any proposed amendments. We have never had, well, the second way is where 2/3 of the states apply for an application. They don't call for one, but they apply for one. And then Congress, depending on the nature of the application, may or may not call for convention. Article 5 convention, under the Constitution, it doesn't limit it to one specific topic. And that's one of the biggest issues here. There are some well-intentioned people, and maybe a few not so well-intentioned, that somehow think that a convention can be limited to one issue, a balanced budget amendment, or a term limits amendment, or what have you, or a general topic. But Article 5 does not say that. Article 5 simply says that the duty of the legislators of the states is to call or apply for one. Apply for one, that's it. And they may or may not vote on any proposed amendments that come out of that convention. We've never had an Article 5 convention, and for good reason. James Madison, who was known as the father of the Constitution, he said in a letter he wrote to a friend of his, right a little bit after the convention was actually ratified, he said it would be fraught with danger having another convention. There were 2 states that had applications, Virginia and New York. So we've never had one. We've come very close to one over the years. We were close to 2 states away back in the 80s, where a number of states rescinded their extant applications. There's been hundreds of proposals. In fact, this state here has 4 applications going back, I think, to the 1940s. The last one was in 1979 that was applying it for a purpose of a balanced budget amendment. But as I said earlier, you can't control it or limit it. And one of the things that may be on our side is that Congress will look at these applications, and if the wording isn't identical, they may not acknowledge it, but they may acknowledge it. So right now there are 28 states that have live applications, putting us about 6 states away. 4 states have rescinded all of their applications in the last several years. There's a few organizations, one on the conservative side called Convention of States. They're very aggressively out there. They've got 12 states in their 12 states that have applied for applications for their particular resolution. This year, though, they're not having a lot of success. I think about 10 states have said no so far to all of the proposed resolutions. There's a group called Wolfpack that's led by Cenk Uygur, or founded by Cenk Uygur of the Young Turks. He only has 5. Well, those are the 2 of the largest organizations. There's a lot of other groups that are in favor of one. ALEC, American Legislative Exchange Council, as I'm sure you're familiar with, they're very much in favor of one. But these are some of the problems with an Article 5, why we are concerned. Yes, it is in the Constitution, but so isn't the Declaration of War, and so isn't the power to tax. So just because it's in there doesn't mean we have to use it. The founders made it very difficult to amend the Constitution for good reason. 2/3 is hard. It's a hard threshold. It should be that way. And 3/4 is even more difficult. And I think they're brilliant. I love those 2 fractions, 2/3 and 3/4, because they're hard to overcome. Had it been easy, there's been hundreds, if not a few thousand proposed amendments to the Constitution. If it was easy to get an amendment through, we would have lost our Constitution. We would have been some kind of transmogrification or who knows what. So we're very glad that it's difficult to do. One of the problems with an Article 5 is there are no laws or rules currently guiding one. Supporters of an Article 5 will tell us that Congress is the problem and they won't fix themselves. So we have to have this convention. But they don't want to tell you that Congress will write the rules under Article 1, Section 8, the last clause. They call it the Necessary and Proper Clause. They've actually tried to pass laws to do that without any success. I have a 1979 Senate hearing about, not exactly exciting reading, it's about 2,000 pages. There was 3 or 4 bills that were proposed and actually passed the Senate but didn't pass the House. So the very folks that are supposed to be a big part of the problem, not only may they write the laws and rules, but they may sit as delegates, because that's another issue. How are the delegates chosen? Well, they may be appointed by the governor. They may be elected, general election. Then, who are they abiding to? If the resolution in Pennsylvania says balanced budget amendment, when they get down there, they don't have to even mention a balanced budget amendment. They're not under any authority. They're there representing the people of their area or their state. The other issue is, how many delegates does each state have? Now, the only time we had a convention was under the Articles of Confederation in 1787, and we're very glad we got what we got. In those days, each state had 1 vote. But today, we're not sure. What if they decide to use the electoral vote as a status? So, California will get 50 plus. Pennsylvania is what, you got 30 plus legislators, 30 plus electoral votes. New York, over 40. And those states aren't exactly what I would call Bible Belt areas. So in other words, if you're a conservative and you think that you're going to get your conservative agenda passed, well, you've got those delegates from states. I'm from Massachusetts. I guarantee you I will not be a delegate if the convention's ever held. I will be the last guy they call. So others too, the other problems are the amendments they're proposing themselves. The balanced budget amendment. Now, it sounds very reasonable when you first look at it, but they have an escape clause. Actually, they have 2 escape clauses. The first one is in time of war. You can't fight a war with a balanced budget. Now, I don't want to have to go to war, but the other one is called a national emergency, state of a national emergency. We have been under one since 1978. And if they pass that amendment, and that conservative Republican says, I'm doing my best for my constituents. I tried, but darn it, we're under national emergency because something happened 10,000 miles away in the Middle East. So we're under national emergency. But I tried, so I do the best I can. You've also done something else. You've made a national emergency constitutional. Not in the Constitution, but all of a sudden it becomes constitutional. There are many other problems with an Article 5 convention, and I just mentioned a few here. So I want to invite John Kreider. He's got a few comments to make as well, and then we'll take any questions you may have. John. Thank you.
So I'd just like to explain something that Hal had not mentioned. The Constitution of the United States has been used as a model for 1/4 of all countries in the world. If there's a problem with our Constitution, why would other foreign countries model their Constitution on our Constitution? I think that ours has been recognized worldwide for the last 250 years as a supreme model of freedom and self-determination by the people. This is one of the issues, I think, that appeals to both Democrats and Republicans, liberals and conservatives. I don't think you would find very many liberals anywhere in the country that would want to tamper with the Constitution. It's not just a conservative issue, even though I consider myself a conservative. My country, I'm a 15th generation American. My family has been here for 350 years. We have fought and sometimes died in every war that this country has ever fought. I do not relish any concept of changing this Constitution, this framework of government that we have worked so hard to not only build, but to preserve. Thank you very much for your kind attention. We're open for any questions.
I just want to make a concluding comment. The supporters of Article 5 convention will say, well, what's your plan? Like somehow their plan is the only way that we can restore our country, our foundation. The Convention of States, if you go to their website, you'll see a video by Mr. Mike Farris, who used to be with them. He's along with them at this point. He said, we don't have to change the personnel, we have to change the structure. You ask any engineer, when you change a structure, are you making fundamental changes to that document? He said, you don't have to change the personnel. I use the analogy, it's like lowering the net on the basketball court so guys 5'6" can slam dunk. Or maybe to make the Constitution Common Core compliant. How's that? But Benjamin Rush, as I was walking in here on the left-hand side, etched in the stone, is a quote from one of the signers of the Declaration, Dr. Benjamin Rush. He said, freedom can only survive with an educated society. That's the problem. We do not have enough people that are sufficiently informed, and that's why we have what we have in Washington, D.C. and other parts of the country. I do information tables on a regular basis all over the region. Homeschool shows. We hope to be at a homeschool show here in a few weeks or in a few months. And you ask folks, name your state legislator, name your member of Congress, and about 80 to 90% of them cannot. And if they do know, well, how do they vote on these critical issues? They don't know that either. So that's really the problem. We do not have an informed electorate, and I believe that's the solution. So folks, I want to thank you for coming out. If you want more about us, campconstitution.net. You can see the sign here at the bottom with our website. We have a great YouTube channel, and we have lots of information on this topic as well. So thank you, and God bless.